Hey everyone, this is Mike, and in today's video we're going to go over all of the new quest steps for the relic weapon of patch 5.45. Now, if all you're here for is a quick TLDR of what you need to do, I will leave a timestamp in the description so you can go to the end of the video where I will leave my TLDR. If however you want some extra information about why I am recommending you do certain things, because again, like last time, we have multiple options as to where you want to grind for your relic, then I'm basically going to be explaining all of that in the rest of the video. So TLDR in the description if you want to go check that out. Otherwise, I'm just going to explain everything that you might want to know about the relic. So first of all, prerequisite, you need to have cleared the Delubrum Reginae. If you don't have access to this piece of content yet, you need to go inside the Bojan Southern Front, rank up all the way to rank 10, which is where you unlock the Castrum Lacus Litore. Once you've cleared Castrum, you get access to some more story quests, which once you do those, eventually you'll unlock the Delubrum Reginae by just following the quest line over there. Once you've cleared it the first time, that is where you will get access to the new relic steps from this patch. This time around there are 3 different steps, with the second step only needing to be completed once and one time only. So you do this when you're doing your first relic, and if you go for a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, however many you want to do, then that second step does not need to be repeated, which is very lucky because literally half of the time spent grinding your first relic is going to be inside of the second step, or maybe even more than half of your time spent. So let's start off with the first step of the relic. We're going to be collecting 15 items, and these can be either obtained by doing the A Realm Reborn 24-man raids or by doing critical engagement inside of the Bojan Southern Front. My recommendation here is to go with the 24-man raids of A Realm Reborn for 2 reasons. One, they're relatively easy to do. You queue into them really quickly as well. They take about 12 to 15 minutes depending on the group that you're running with, if you get a good or a bad group. And there's also a 100% drop rate on these things. Whereas when it comes down to the critical engagements, they're relatively random as to when they spawn. Sometimes you can get lucky and you get multiple back to back. Sometimes you can be running around for an hour and none of them will spawn. And on top of that, the drop rate is only 20%-ish. We don't have the exact numbers, but it's estimated to be around 20%, which is pretty low. So it's kind of like RNG on top of RNG, whereas with the Crystal Tower raids, it's relatively quick to do and you have a 100% drop chance. If you're looking to grind it out, you can go into Sigrus Tower. That's the one that's the most efficient. If you're looking to do it on a day-by-day basis, you can of course unequip all of your gear except your weapon and queue into the Alliance raid roulette. That way you will also just always be put into an A Realm Reborn raid, and then you can just do it like that. Moving over to our second step. This is the most grindy step of the 3, and it's also the one that you only need to do for your first relic and then never again. We're going to be collecting 2 different items this time around. We'll need 18 of each, and the first one can be acquired by doing the Heavensward 24-man raids or by doing fates inside of Girabania. If you don't know what Girabania is, that's basically the peaks, the logs, and the fringes, the first 3 Stormblood zones that are kind of still in our part of Eorzea. The second item can be obtained by doing the Stormblood 24-man raids or by doing fates inside of Oathars. That is the other 3 Stormblood zones, the Ruby Sea, Yangsha, and the Azim Steppe. Again, here my recommendation is going to be to do the 24-man raids for the same reason as before, 100% drop rate. Fates this time around seem to be about a 10% drop rate, which is very low. So when it comes down to the Heavensward raids, do the Void Ark, that one's pretty quick. And when it comes down to Stormblood, do the Royal City of Rabanastre. That one also doesn't take too long, and with gear scaling, you can pretty much ignore most of the mechanics that are there now anyways. So again, this step only needs to be done once. You need 18 items of each. And then for our third step, we finally get to do some actual new content, which is Delubrum Reginae. We'll need to be collecting 15 items. Delubrum has a 100% drop chance on these items, so 15 runs of Delubrum will do it for you. Alternatively, you can also go into the Palace of the Dead Deep Dungeon and go grind it over there. Now, I have heard different people say that the drop chance seems to increase the higher as you go into the floors, so just spamming floor 50 to 60 is not the most efficient if you want to do Palace of the Dead, but actually going all the way to 100 or going past 100 if you have a pre-made group, for example, will be something that will get more efficient for you. Eventually, of course, Palace of the Dead does take quite long if you get to the higher floors, so there will be a trade-off. Where exactly that is, I don't know, but my recommendation goes to the Delubrum Reginae because of the 100% drop chance. It doesn't take crazy long depending on your party setup either, if people are using their actions and whatnot. But there's also some other rewards in Delubrum that I personally wanted to do, so that is why I went after Delubrum itself. After you finish this step, you can allocate your relic with stats that you want on there yourself. You can alter these later down the line as well by buying a new item for 100 poetics, but you don't need this item unless you want to change the stats that you already put on your relic. We might need this item for future patches, when for example we get our final relic, and we might be able to put bonus stats on there, who knows, but for now we don't actually need to buy this item unless you put the wrong stats on your relic, or when you get new gear, you might want to adjust stuff over there with like more skill speed, more spell speed or something like that. So, big TLDR. 15 runs of Crystal Tower raids, Sycrus Tower being the most efficient one, 18 runs of Void Ark, 18 runs of the Royal City of Rabanastre, and then 15 runs of Delubrum Reginae will finish the relic for you in this specific patch. Of course, there is still one more step to come that will bring our relic up to the same item level as the raid weapons, which will also make it so that the relic weapons will be better than the raid weapons, because of course we can choose our stats and they will also have more stats than the raid weapons themselves, but that will be coming in patch 5.55 I would imagine, which is still a little while away. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I'll definitely get back to you. But on that note, I want to thank you for watching, I want to thank my Patreons for supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.